Milky Way. And close my closet. Hi, it's me, a little baby. My actual name is Kristen, and I'm gonna be filming a book review. Is it a book review or is it a book talk? I want to film, I guess, I don't really want to call it a review, so I guess I'll call it a book talk about a book I just finished reading last night, and that is, I hope you can see it, there we go, is Passing by Nella Larsen. So it was a really short read, so I'm not going to keep you here too long. I know you don't want to be here, all afternoon stuff, so you got books to read and stuff. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about kind of some of the themes. I guess that's where I should start, or a few of the themes in this book, I guess, that I gathered. So one theme, obviously, is race. Well, maybe not so obviously. Let me turn this off. So maybe not so obviously. One of the themes in this book is race. One of them is loyalty. Can I think of what another theme? I'm gonna see if maybe I can turn my thinking cap on. I think one more theme would be the Black community and its view on race specifically, not just really kind of in this book there wasn't really a whole lot of racism from people outside of the Black community. It was really just kind of a study the Black and biracial community, because I am one that holds the belief that really biracial people aren't really technically a part of the Black community. And this book has helped me to kind of really latch on to that thought process, because I don't, a lot of biracial people, I don't even think of themselves as a part of the Black community, which there's nothing wrong with that, because if you are passing, if you are white passing, then why not just identify as that anyway? Do you know what I mean? And even if you are white passing and maybe you identify more with the Black community or whatever the case may be, then you can go ahead and you can do that. I think that's all a personal preference and what the person wants for themselves. And I think this book did a good job of kind of deciphering those two lives between someone who chooses to identify as Black, and then one that chose to identify as white, and just how complex that decision can be, and just how dangerous that could have ended up being for a lot of people who decided to pass, So this book, it made me want to kind of look at that topic and how it kind of has extended even into this day and age. as far as the Black community is concerned. So we're not talking about, because this book doesn't talk about racism when it comes to white people and how they feel about Black people. That is brought up a few times, but that's not a huge part of this book. The bigger part of this book deals with those identity issues in biracial people, whether they choose to identify as Black or whether they choose to identify as white and pass. And I don't think, coming out of this book, I don't think either is wrong, but one of the things about this book and that it shows you is you can't have your cake and eat it too, which was what one of the characters tried to do. And so I guess I should probably give like a summary of what this book is, I guess. So basically, this book follows two women, Irene and Claire. Irene is a biracial woman who chose to identify as Black, and Claire is a biracial woman who decided to pass as white. And they meet up, and they sort of become friends, but it's more of a situation where Claire kind of becomes infatuated with Irene because of the fact that even though you would think that because Claire could pass as white, she has this amazing life, there are a lot of semantics that go into passing. One of the things they spoke about was when having children, you know, when you are biracial, there is the possibility that your child could come out being dark and not white, which is what you would expect if you are two white people. You know, you don't expect to have a baby that looks like me, you know, you want to have a baby that is white. And it would be very odd if, you know, two white people did end up and have a baby that looked like me, you know. So that was one of the issues. And then just the issue of you not being fully white, and you know, you didn't just fall out of the sky, you came from somewhere. And so there's always this fear chasing the passing person as to, you know, will they be found out? And we're talking about people who were very prejudiced, very racist. You know, you don't want to be found out. You know, so many things could have happened, and your life could go in so many and any number of horrible directions because you chose this lifestyle without ever allowing the person that you were spending your life with know that, hey, I am a passing biracial person, I have Black blood. And which is the kind of dark cloud that looms over Claire's head, and it's kind of the magnet that draws her to Irene, because Irene, though she could have passed if she wanted to, but she didn't. She decided to live her life as a Black woman. So it's fascinating to Claire because, you know, a part of her still wants that interaction with the Black community. Although she's never really had one, she's always kind of been, for lack of a better term, a black sheep, and never really fit in with the Black community. And so she still wanted that bridge to that community, while she also wanted to still play as a white woman. And so it's essentially, this story is about this story is about a fascination with what you can't have, you know, because she made the choice to pass. And so in a way, like, there's no looking back, and her husband was like super racist. So for her, there was no, you know, and I don't want to tell too much of the story, but I mean, her husband was super racist. He even called her a pretty vulgar nickname because she tanned really well. So there's that. So that'll tell you, you know, that kind of gives you an idea of this dark cloud that she had over her head. Even though you think she'd have this amazing life because she decided to pass as a white woman, that she would have this kind of affluent and amazing, very star-studded and very gilded life, because not only does she pass as a white woman, but she passes as a very extraordinarily beautiful white woman. She's got this blonde hair, and she's got these magnetic dark eyes, and she's just she's described in this book as being very beautiful, and so you would think that she has it all. But I think this story does a good job at kind of painting the picture to you that she doesn't, that she English. I think this story did a good job in painting the picture to you that she didn't, and did a good job of explaining to you through Irene's eyes why she wouldn't have, you know, the best life, especially when she's just living a lie. You know, and that's another thing, is like, you can't live a lie. And if you're going to, you can't keep trying to go back and change your mind and be a part of this community at a time where there was just this great gulf fixed between black people and white people, just people of color in general, and white people. So I thought this story was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. I ended up giving it 5 stars, and I just thought that it was really good, and I thought it did a really good job at kind of explaining some of the insecurities that you might have, you know, being a black person, and, you know, a lot of the prejudice even, and probably that wasn't even meant to be what you were supposed to get, is that there is a lot of prejudice in the black community itself, without even ever having to worry about white people or other people of color within our own community. There's just a crazy amount of prejudice, and, you know, I thought that that was one of the subtexts, probably, to me, for what I got from this story. And, you know, how there's a difference between us as far as skin tone goes. You know, the darker you get, like, the less value you have, the less beauty you possess, and just, you know, the less intelligence you are to possess. So just a lot of things that were touched upon that I got from this text, and why I think it's so useful, and why I think that it should be read, and I think that more black people should read this story. And I guess in honor of Black History Month, I read Passing. And I thought it was amazing. I thought Nella Larsen's writing was just so exquisite. I thought it was so detailed and careful, but also very truthful, very, very daring. And I just think that if you read this as a black person, there's just a lot that you can get from it. But also, I guess, you know, anybody could read this story and enjoy it, and have it mean something, and come out of it having it mean something to them. So I really enjoyed this story. I thought it was great. And I would read it again and again and again and again. So thank you for watching. I hope you have a good day. I hope you have a good evening. And you know what? I hope you read a good book.